Hello, I'm Donna Friesen. We're at that time of the year that's usually so exciting for kids. School is out for the summer, there are grad parties going on, kids are moving on to the next stage in their lives. This year, all those milestones are being marked virtually. Tonight, we're going to dig into the impact that's having physically and psychologically. Most kids haven't seen the inside of a classroom in months, have hardly seen their friends, and haven't played organized sports. Screen time is up. Activity is down. A new study from Participaction gave Canadian kids a D+ on activity. It found only 39% of kids aged 5 to 17 met federal guidelines for physical activity. The one bright spot? 77% of 5 to 19-year-olds participated in some kind of organized sport or physical activity. Both kids and parents want to get back into the game. John Waugh takes us through the first tentative steps down that path.
These sounds are music to every hockey lover's ears. But at the local rink, it's a whole new reality.
It's different. They have to come fully dressed, and that actually has taken away from their locker room time with the team. But it hasn't seemed to faze the kids at all. I think they're just happy to be back on the ice.
From designated entrances and walkways to only a few parents in the stands, the Fraser Valley Kings hockey program in Abbotsford, British Columbia has drawn up a whole new play for the COVID-19 pandemic.
Obviously, keeping the kids 6 feet apart, there's an element of the game that you can't teach or work on right now. But there's a lot of the skills and the basics, you know, as the kids get through, it's about the fundamentals.
The spring tournaments have been cut.
I like scoring goals and playing games.
The focus now is on player development.
We haven't played in months, so I kind of forgot some things.
Make sure we're all 6 feet apart, fellas!
With a heavy emphasis on the importance of social distancing on the ice.
You'll be staying away from people, not too far, but not too close.
And with a limit of one parent per player at the rink, this camera and a couple of clicks online allow hockey moms or dads to watch their child's progress from home.
The families, they were loyal to me, and I promised to work really hard for them to get them back in the rink and give them a program that was different than originally thought, but you know, as a group, they wanted to be here.
Getting back to activities like hockey could have easily been benched until a later date. But all levels of government across Canada have prioritized a return to play because of the added benefit sport brings during this pandemic.
It really demonstrates the power of sport in terms of providing physical and mental health benefits, but also that connection in the community, how it brings people together.
The Fraser Valley Kings are following the guidelines provided by Via Sport, a legacy program of the 2010 Vancouver Olympic Games, and now the BC government's liaison for organized sports.
The guidelines do kind of get handed down to the local club, and it's really up to them to say, okay, how do we implement this now with what we've got, and do we need to wait? Can we do this now? What do we need to adjust?
No matter what the sport, the key message is, well, it might be good to be back.
And it's going to look different than it was a few months ago, and it also may look different from community to community.
Based on those guidelines, BC Hockey's current phase includes social distancing, no non-essential travel, and modified play.
No league competitions, no training camps right now, and all of these things for now.
Yeah, it's still fun. I wish I was playing games still.
For associations like Ridge Meadows Minor Hockey, the future of this coming fall is far from certain.
Speculation is the challenge right now, and we've worked really hard. We have a number of different scenarios and plans in place.
The season will almost certainly start with skills development. Many are still holding on to hope for the good old hockey game.
We'd love to return to some form of gameplay if we could. It might start out as small area gameplay, and then maybe roll into a 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 format if we have to. Ideally, though, we want to play 5-on-5 hockey, and that's the goal.
Now, spectators are a major concern for every sport organization because there are plenty of parents, siblings, even grandparents who want to watch their loved ones play. In British Columbia, there's currently a ban on any large gathering of 50 people or more, and that number can get even smaller depending on the size of the facility to avoid having too many people in one place at one time. So according to Via Sport, the key rule still applies. Really? Sorry, the key rule still applies. You have to stay at least 2 meters away from anyone around you. And a reminder, that's a minimum. In Oakville, Ontario, these young soccer stars are finally about to score some time with their team.
Not exactly train with them, but still see them, interact with them, and that's, I feel, is going to be a lot better for all of us.
A return to the pitch with a parent or friend is one thing. Practicing with their club helps these competitors push one another to be better.
The intensity isn't the exact same as you would being there with your teammates.
While Soccer Ontario unveiled its restart plan in mid-June, many clubs are just trying to get off on the right foot. A recent survey showed 33% of parents would return their kids to the game, 28% under strict conditions, and more than 12% would give a red card to the rest of the year.
You've seen that more in your recreational type player, whereas in your more competitive player, there's less caution because they're willing to trust the system and come back.
The drop in registration and program fees has led to an 80% drop in revenue and reduction in staff. The uncertainty has Ontario soccer and many local clubs worried.
From an economic recovery standpoint, we're looking at a minimum of 2 years, if not 5 years.
For parents, it's about juggling the need to be cautious with COVID-19 and knowing the benefit the game brings when their kids are together.
I'm more concerned about his well-being mentally, socially, and so you weigh that, and I think we're in a good place moving forward.
For these phenoms, any kind of soccer will do the trick. Kicking it with their club will be that much better. Baseball is considered to be one of the safer sports to play during this pandemic because it's outdoors and mostly non-contact. But the London Badgers have just come back to practice and not on the field all at once.
The middle infielders are going right now on the field. The corner infielders are hitting off in a different area. The outfielders are coming to stretch right now.
Baseball Ontario is limiting return to play to regions in Phase 2 of the province's restart plan, with a limit of 10 players for in-person play. The Badgers are going for even smaller training groups of 5.
These are just my best buddies and my favorite people in the world, so I just get to see them and hang out and play what I love with them.
And what happens when avoiding the spread of COVID-19 forces out the key safety component of spotting from competitive gymnastics?
That was definitely, for me, the hardest thing.
Physical distancing means no one to guide them through these gravity-defying acts.
My coach that I trust and that has spotted me for years, I wasn't going to have her spotting me, and even after a skill, when you do it and you feel happy, I want to just give her a hug, but I can't.
At Flip City Gymnastics in Langley, BC, part of bouncing back from this pandemic means getting back up and pushing forward within your limits.
We wanted to make sure that coaches work with their athletes to ensure that they're staying within the scope of their current abilities and not learning new things too quickly as they return.
Gymnastics BC has already struck a delicate balance. No more spotting, but also other new measures including 2-meter markers, daily screenings, and enhanced cleaning. And sanitizing high-touch areas takes on a whole new spin when it's basically everything in sight.
I think that first day, I think we were all very nervous and anxious on what the process would look like, but as soon as those kids started coming through the doors, it was just exhilarating.
Seeing any of these athletes in action, there's no doubt this is a rough time for those on the cusp of reaching the next level.
They love to compete, and we can't take that away from them. That's what they love to do. So just be patient, and it will all come back.
But whether it's on the high beam, ball diamond, soccer pitch, or ice, a return to play within this new reality is a common goal across Canada. This pandemic may have forced each activity in every community to adapt and change the way we compete.
Trying hard and doing the drills right and doing them fast.
But the drive to come together through sport is something not even COVID-19 can stop.